You can learn a lot about a person by just asking them what's their favorite Paper Mario game. For instance, fans of the old games might appreciate a challenge and depth to their characters. Fans of the newer titles would appreciate charm, stunning visuals, and humor. Fans of Sticker Star would need to be asked more questions, and fans of SPM haven't seen the sun in years. But what could cause such a difference in opinion across fans of what seem to be similar games? After all, they have the same frontman running the show. Well, the Paper Mario story is a story of ups and downs, of complexity and simplicity, of the question of what should be prioritized in making and enjoying a game. And our story begins not at the first Paper Mario game. Why would you think that? No, our story begins long before our hero is born, in the ancient year of 1996. The era of both 16-bit RPGs and the Super Nintendo Entertainment System were nearing their ends, but the SNES had one more installment up its sleeve. Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars, tells a tale of our hero Mario, along with Bowser, Peach, or Princess Toadstool at the time, Mallow, and Geno, as they traverse the lands of the Mushroom Kingdom and beyond to gather the 7 star pieces to fix Star Road and prevent the Smithy Gang from taking over the world. Or at least I think that's what happens. That's what the synopsis says. I haven't actually played this game, or a lot of these games for that matter, but opinion isn't really my aim here, it's information, so I hope you can give me a pass. During the journey of SMRPG, Mario and his party meet a wide variety of characters. Some are old faces that people knew by now, Toads, Goombas, Shy Guys, but we also had many new faces, some we'd see return, but others we would never see again. Probably the most important of these characters are Mallow and Geno, the playable members of your party that weren't on the box art, or the North American one. And while yes, Mallow is certainly relevant, Geno is a lot more interesting. Geno is a star being / warrior that inhabits the body of a child's doll to assist in retrieving the star pieces and to expose the plot. After they do that, Geno leaves the doll to return the star pieces, my god, to the Star Road. But if you're me, then you know Geno as that guy everyone wanted in Smash, and then everyone cried when he was sent to the limbo that is a Mii costume. Twice. However, the fact that so many people want seemingly an insignificant puppet from an old RPG to be in this massive collection of gaming just goes to show how well received this game was and still is. Of course, every game has its faults, and one of the biggest with this game is that its tone and intention definitely clashed. After all, it's a bit hard to fear interdimensional beings when its neighbor is a piranha plant. But besides that, it's easy to see why this game is considered a must-play. It had a good plot, characters that you could care about, places that were teeming with life, and a battle system that let the player get creative. Super Mario RPG had a battle system that was, shockingly, an RPG. You had your items and your party members that you could switch out. You had your regular stats of HP, speed, attack, defense, magic attack, and magic defense. And you could change these stats as you evolved and could invest in certain ones. And of course, you had your action commands and status effects and everything else that would make you want to battle and make battling engaging. The right mixture of strategic battle and hands-on battle. This battle system, and overall gameplay, laid the groundwork of what some of the later games in the series would follow, and incorporates into their styles of battling. But, unfortunately, the era of 16-bit RPGs was nearing its end, and if SMRPG wanted a sequel, then it would need a rebrand. And thus our hero was born, in the form of Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64, although he doesn't quite look it, yet. In this Mario story, our hero travels the lands of the Mushroom Kingdom to stop Bowser and rescue the princess from his clutches. Wait, that sounds extremely familiar. What's special about this tale? Oh, that. Yeah, Bowser's got a wish-granting Star Wad, and he's basically invincible now. But hope is not lost for our hero, because if they can retrieve the 7 star spirits that were cast across the lands, their power should be enough to counter that of the Star Rod. So that's why Mario is traveling the lands. We can already see the parallels between RPG and 64 now, with the wish-granting stars and whatnot. It's definitely a simpler story as a whole, but it still has enough weight in it to feel worth your time, with a battle system that didn't alter the tone of the setting, striking a balance that SMRPG missed. Speaking of which, the battle system has also been changed. No longer like a traditional 16-bit RPG, but what the wiki describes as a turn-based side-view battle system, something that would certainly reappear in later titles. This battle system also gave Paper Mario his iconic jump and hammer attacks, which could be improved with badges, and also saw special moves. When you leveled up via star points, instead of the regular statistics from earlier, you had heart points, flower points, and badge points that could be increased to the player's wishes. Instead of circulating 2 spots in between 4 people, now 1 spot could be circulated between 8 people max. Those 8 are Goombario, Cooper, Bombette, Parakarry, Ladybell, Watt, Sushi, and Lackey Lester. However, it is notable that those are usually enemy species, and they're on your side. This was and still is one of the many appeals of older Paper Mario. Along with its fun story and great balance of tone, there are also its creative environments, which were enhanced by the storybook theming and the wide swath of diverse characters. This game did not shy away from using what were traditionally enemies as your helpers, your friends, and your companions. Yes, most of them were still your enemies, but you had towns of Goombas and Koopas. Sadly, they still did cling a bit to the Mario brand, not really daring to create many new major enemies that were not somewhat based on a Mario enemy. But it's not like that held him back from having fun with it. General Guy, Lava Piranha, and Tootin' Koopa are all great examples of this. Overall, Paper Mario 64 was a really solid game that definitely captured the hearts of many and laid a solid baseline, not just for the future of its series, but other series as well. It acted really well as its successor to SMRPG, and most were excited to see where Paper Mario would go from there. Luckily for fans of this game, the follow-up would not disappoint. And thus our hero is born anew. He looks fresh, more modern, with a whole new cast of characters to back him up in this wild and darker tale. Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door follows Mario as he travels through Roachport and beyond in order to collect the 7 crystal stars that will together open the Thousand Year Door and hopefully rescue the princess trapped behind the door, but may also set free whatever else is lurking behind it. So we're seeing a pattern. This game is what you would expect as a sequel. It took what happened in the last game and shook it around a bit to create something a bit more masterful. It had a more elaborate plot with larger forces at play than just Bowser's done it again. It improved on the battle system, adding things like the audience and bingo. It had even more diverse and fun settings, straying even farther from traditional Mario enemies, with enemies like Cortez and the X-Knots, and partners like Vivian and Miss Mouse, but still holding on to that Mario charm. But there are some things about this game that definitely makes it stand out among other games in this series and Mario as a whole. Like I stated previously, the Thousand Year Door takes what many call a darker tone, from the mysterious and grand finale to some questionable character designs to the infamous noose in the beginning of the game. This game makes many dubious theming choices that appear like they'd be very repulsive to the target demographic, but of course, in retrospect, that would prove greatly the contrary. Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door was almost universally accepted as not only an amazing follow-up, but as an amazing game as a whole. It would be an understatement to say it was well received. This game that cemented Paper Mario as a favorite for many, so much that they've started change.org petitions to get it remastered, a clear display of present-day love. However, those fans riding the high of possibilities in this new world will be let down in the next steps the series would take. Now we're getting to what I have played, and thus I can say more on, and be a bit more biased on, Super Paper Mario. I said this was a story, and unfortunately stories cannot follow a straight path. This game would be a turn in Paper Mario's story. Not quite a dip. Not just yet, but definitely a turn. Super Paper Mario starts off normal. Our hero and his brother get called into action by a lone toad. In fact, the only toad to appear in this whole game, shouting about the princess's kidnapping again. The brothers default to Bowser's castle and storm it, still at the beginning of the game, only to find out that Bowser has yet to actually kidnap the princess. Confusion stirs until it was revealed that it's the mysterious Count Bleck who has kidnapped the princess in order to further his even more mysterious plans. This sets Mario upon a journey, not across lands, but worlds, guided by a new singular partner, Tippy, to stop the plans of Count Bleck and his minions from coming to fruition and stopping the universe from being destroyed. Already we see differences. Super Paper Mario did away with the traditional side view, turn-based battles found in the previous installments of the series. Instead, it puts more focus on platforming that is very reminiscent of the mainline games. The battle system has also adapted to this new scenery. You still have items, action commands, and party members, but they all look different. Items can be used at any time, and action commands are used to summon the audience and chain attacks. Now there's a main party of 4 consisting of Mario, Peach, Bowser, and Luigi. He's here now, and important, but that's for later. Everyone has their own abilities to bring to the table to help you traverse the entire environment and solve puzzles, but when those aren't enough, you're also helped out by the secondary partners, the pixels, with their own special capabilities, plus a special pixel, the aforementioned Tippy. While this setup is necessary for the gameplay, it does remove a lot of the strategy found in the first 2 or 3 games, where previously every partner had a chance to shine and every battle was a different scenario that called for different tactics. Now you just stomp on everything with the Bowser carry combo and then switch to a different character when you need to parkour better. Another difference is that the game takes a very literal meaning on 2.5D. Instead of 2D characters roaming around a 3D environment, one of Paper Mario's main charms, it's wholly in 2D until Mario obtains his ability Flip, the game's main gimmick. Flip allows for Mario and whatever pixel he has to flip into 3D, adding an extra layer to puzzle solving and platforming. However, it does have a timer. It is understandable to say that not everyone liked its game. Apart from its just overall difference in style, it also has many tedious moments where you essentially just hold right for an extended period of time, and many confusing puzzles. But it's the highest selling Paper Mario game for a reason, and where the game did capture people is in its story and characters. It's certainly not grander than 1,000-Year Door, probably just as so, but it's a lot more personal, especially in the lore. Obviously, I'm not the first or last to fawn over the love story between Blumiere and Timpani, but the recurringness of the rest of the minions and how they change over the course of the game allows for the audience to either connect with or really, really hate them, depends on who you're talking about. But even the one-and-done characters and bosses all have little bits of lore thrown into them as well, for adding extra spice. Super Paper Mario was and still is controversial, as it was a change for the series and the first of many. It attracted many new fans, it disgusted many old fans, and some people just didn't have anything to say about it. However, the next step in our hero's story would almost certainly cause a stir, as we'd now be going handheld to... Paper Mario did go to the DS, right? Oh, we did go to the DS as a crossover. Mario & Luigi Paper Jam was the last new story in the Mario & Luigi lineup, a series of RPG games that stuck to the more traditional mechanics found in the first few Paper Mario games. It was the end of an era, as Alpha Dream, the company responsible for the series, would push out 2 remakes of previous games and then file for bankruptcy in 2019. There was a lot riding on this game, as Mario & Luigi fans would wonder what could happen after Dream Team, and Paper Mario fans just wanted a good RPG. It wouldn't entirely live up to either, as while it isn't a bad game, M&L is filled with amazing games, and Paper Jam just wouldn't live up to the standard. And for Paper Mario fans, while we did get to see our lovable flat folks, we only got to see the paper versions of characters that were already in the M&L world, so no Shadow Queen Black Fawful team-up, as sick as that would have been. It's obvious as to why they didn't do that, because if they brought one back, they'd have to bring back them all. But no playable Paper Luigi was an odd yet understandable choice. The game still had its own charm, as a Mario game does, but it was a way sadder way for M&L to go out. And that was Paper Mario's whole DS run, and the whole DS family. There was no other Paper Mario game on the DS at all. Ugh. Fine. SPM may have been a turn for this series, but this next one was certainly a dip. Paper Mario Sticker Star. Woo boy. Where to start? Bowser's done it again, this time possessed by the power of the royal stickers. It's up to our red Plammer to free him from its power and the princess from his clutches. We've gone down to a single perma party member, Kirsty, a sticker fairy and caretaker of the royal stickers. And thus, it's a journey across the lands of the Mushroom Kingdom to save the world. But it doesn't feel right. Our hero has started to live up to his name as the world around him begins to take a more arts and crafts type feel. The world looks like a diorama as everything is made of cardboard, and characters act as if they're made of paper to just really immerse you in this flat world. But that's all the scenery had going for it. See, this game switched from chapters to worlds, and all of the worlds are linked by an overarching theme, similar to the main series. World 2 is a desert theme, World 3 is a forest theme, World 4 is a snow theme. And that's fine for the platformers, but not for the RPGs that prided itself on its worlds that bubbled with life because of its characters and their diversity. Speaking of which, Sticker Star is the beginning of what I call the Toad Apocalypse. We went from one toad appearing in the whole game to the whole game being nothing but toads. This game is too scared to stray away from traditional Mario enemies, refusing to use enemies as friends and refusing to create new enemies to take their place. Just Koopas and Goombas and Cheep Cheeps and Toads and more Toads. The bosses are just enemies but larger and shinier. It feels generic and tame. They didn't try anything new. It's just a Mario platformer but with RPG elements. Well, maybe not an RPG exactly, but we've gone back to turn-based battle systems. But that's not a good thing. The biggest issue that many people had with this game, if they could excuse everything else, was the new battle system. This battle is focused on single-use items called stickers. Already we're turning the wrong way. There's basic jump and hammer stickers, which have different forms. Then there's special stickers, like power flowers and support stickers. There's also things, which are non-paper objects typically used for story progression or for making a boss easier. But the items are single use. You use them and they're gone. It's not fun. You have to keep refilling your inventory, or you have to refine the things. It also rips all strategy out of everything. Just reduce the health to 0 and keep moving. Throw stickers at boss and get big sticker. There's no opportunity to find your playstyle because there's only one way to play the game, and it's as our flat hero. That's the final nail in this coffin. This game has very little to be praised about. I'm sure if I played it, then I'd find its little charms here and there, but it's vastly overshadowed by how it falls in everything else. Paper Mario Sticker Star had good design, music, and humor to get you really into the world it presents, but as soon as you start to actually play it, all of its flaws start to show, and thus many choose to criticize and dunk on this game, seeing it as a disgrace to the Paper Mario name. Many chose to stop giving the series a chance, disagreeing with the action-adventure genre, and didn't care what it would present next, as they would not be engaging with it. Boy, would they be mad. Paper Mario Color Splash had everything running against it. I already stated that many people just gave up on the series, but Color Splash was also on the Wii U, an infamous game console that speaks for itself. Upon announcement, funnily enough, the game had a Change.org petition to Nintendo against releasing the game, with over 1,700 signatures. All that and more led to Color Splash only selling 1.19 million units by 2020. Still one of the best-selling Wii U games, but in comparison, Sticker Star had 2.47 million units by that time. Many fans have felt that they dodged a bullet by not playing it, and rightfully so. It kept Sticker Star's frustrating and strategyless battle system. It had a bunch of mandatory elements that did not need to be mandatory, such as perfecting Sniff It or Whiff It, and there's still a very apparent Toad Apocalypse in this game, but at least they bothered to give them unique outfits now. Plus, there's no giant blooper. Y'all, there was one requirement. You couldn't even do that. But even through all its flaws, this game still had its charms and its quirks. It looks stellar as it leans even farther into the paper aspect, with the characters adopting a white outline and the parts of a diorama becoming much more apparent, as well as the general theme and gimmick of paint. The game had very funny writing, especially Huey, who, at least for me, was rarely boring to be around. And, spoilers, I actually cared when he died. The music is also pretty good. The world map theme builds on itself as you obtain more and more big paint stars, and I always love when a game does that. Which is a good segue to a plot summary. Bowser's done it again, this time enhanced and possessed by the black paint. It's up to Mario to journey across Prism Island to retrieve the big paint stars and stop Bowser in his terror. Which is an odd parallel to Bowser's Fury, black paint possessions, islands, stars. Just thought that was interesting. Across the way, you'll run into many scenarios, and I mean many scenarios. The game's interconnected level design made it feel like there was a lot of content in it. I mean, there's a cooking minigame, a giant hole, parallel worlds, a time loop, and a steak fight. This game will definitely keep you on your toes as you progress further and further. But who's standing in the way between you and the paint stars but the Koopalings? Yes, they are still leaning on traditional Mario enemies, but at least they're using actual bosses now. And they're done great justice by this game, considering that they have unique boss themes and all. And they're all amazing, but my personal favorites is Iggy's. But while their boss themes are nice, their boss fights are less so, as they almost always require things to beat, and the game never tells you which thing you need until you're already in the boss fight. The things are often hidden away as well, so you might not even have noticed it on your first way through. So Color Splash was a low-performing game on an even lower-performing console, but for what it's worth, it's certainly an enjoyable tale that was shrouded by issues both in its control and out of it. Paper Mario Color Splash was a step up from Sticker Star, but we still have yet to reach the heights of the 2000s and before. Let's see how our sixth and final entry to this day tried to respond. Paper Mario the Origami King definitely performed well, being the second highest selling Paper Mario game. I've speculated 3 reasons for this. 1, it came out around the height of quarantine. Not much else was releasing during this time, so why not get the latest Paper Mario, see what the hype is. 2, it's a Switch game, and this applies to any video game series. Kirby, Legend of Zelda, Smash Brothers, Pokemon, shoot, even the other Super Mario games fall into this, MK8 Deluxe being infamous. 3, the game was able to rope back hope into the franchise, bringing back old fans who were willing to give it a chance again. It did away with the single-use items battle system, instead introducing a ring system. For regular battles, you arrange enemies in either a 1x4 pattern or a 2x2 pattern. It's debatable whether or not the puzzle-solving format works well. It's certainly charming, but it also wears off after a bit and just gets frustrating. But the boss battles are definitely done well. They're challenging puzzles that you can put your own level of strategy into. You don't get frustrated because of the issues rooted in the battle system, but because that dunce of a tape dispenser won't stop healing before I can burn him. Plus, to say that the Legion of Stationery, the main bosses of the game, didn't wiggle its way into the hearts of fans would be a bold-faced lie. The Legion are loyal to this game's main antagonist, King Ali, the Origami King, whose goal it is to fold the paper world into an origami one. So once more, it's a journey across lands, as Mario, along with Olivia, our main partner, and a parade of other, I guess you'd call them faux partners, as they will only follow you throughout certain sections of this game. Some will rejoin you if you enter that area, some don't, and some just straight up die. But these guys are all still familiar Mario faces, except for Olivia, who I don't like as a character, but those are personal grievances. Nothing else fresh, no one new, just Bob-ombs, Koopas, and Toads. The Toadpocalypse is still here, but at least they're trying. They've also become self-aware about it, making Ollie's main motivation hating Toads for looking the same, acknowledging that all Toads are the same and can become uncreative if used too much. But they still didn't lay off the Toads. Yeah, they have even more differences and unique outfits now, but they're still Toads. It's still a part of the issue, and it's one of the game's greatest flaws. What's even weirder is that they reused Toads from Color Splash in this game. The DJ in this game is the Lighthouse Keep in Color Splash. The Automoboots Toad in this game is the Sunset Express conductor in Color Splash. And not just the Toads, but the outside of Bowser's castle might also be reused, but I can't entirely tell. Also, this game has lamer splash screens than Color Splash. Like, Color Splash stopped everything that was going on to introduce anyone relevant, but Origami King just pushed some words on a screen. Like, come on, be a bit more dramatic. No one will hurt you. To be fair, Origami King did put all of its flair into its stellar scenery and music. No joke, play this game just for the tunes. From Shogun Studios to the Fanged Fastener, every song just sets the right mood for what's about to happen and stays a bop while doing so, all while being enhanced by the stunning environments, going even harder on the paper aspect than ever. All this and more led Origami King receiving sweeping praise for just being different. Something new since the dark ages of the 2010s. Origami King was a simple tale with a controversial battle system. A slight return to form, but more still needs to be done. A step up from Sticker Star and Color Splash, but yet to reach the heights of what came before. And it's the most up-to-date chapter in this Mario story. The tale of Paper Mario is a wild tale. It's of highs and lows, of twists and turns, of the grandest stories and the littlest jokes. But it is also a tale of appreciation. Every game had something to be appreciated, whether it be its characters, music, or writing. Every game had something to be hated, whether it be its battles, tones, or backtracking. Regardless, no matter how these games compare and contrast to each other, they are all united under the name of one plucky paper plumber, and where he goes next is something we will all be looking forward to. However, the games seem to only appear once per console, and with Nintendo resting on their heels with the Switch, well, don't get your hopes too high to see him anytime soon. Thank you for sticking till the end. I know every Paper Mario game is a touchy subject because everyone loves one or hates one or has something to say about everything. But if I did get any information wrong, please do tell me, and I'll be sure to correct it in like a pinned comment or something like that. This is my first video essay and first longer type video. I hope I do get it out because I could be lazy like that. I'm currently recording this on the 26th of January, so we'll see when this goes up. But until then, thanks for sticking around. I plan to do a lot with this channel, and until then, see ya. And I hope that you have a nice day.